Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to make a new machine learning model based on Parkinson's dataset. So let me just show you what kind of dataset it is. So you can just open this dataset on Kaggle API. So I will provide the link in the description box. So let me just show you what is the description of this particular dataset is here. So here you can see that total number of instances. So instances are here rows. So total number of rows are 197 and total number of columns are 23, and the associated task which we have to do here is classification. So basically what we have to do here is that we have to classify that whether the person is having this kind of disease or whether he does not have this kind of disease. So it's a classification model. So here you can see that there are no missing values in this particular data set. So let me just show you more information regarding this data set here. So you can just read this particular information here and you can get an overview of it. So now let me show you the data set. So this is the data set on which we are going to work on. So let me just show you in more detailed manner. So here you can see that the total number of rows and columns are here. So you can just click on this particular option and your dataset will get downloaded here. So for this particular dataset, we are going to use support vector machine model to make our machine learning model. So let me just explain you what kind of algorithm it is. So I'm just drawing a graph here. So here you can see that I have drawn a particular graph here, and this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis here. So on the x-axis there is a particular feature 2, and on the y-axis there is a particular feature 1. So these are two certain columns. You can consider them as a columns here, and these are some kind of data points which are here. So you can just understand that there is a particular distinction between these particular data set here, that some data points are here blue and some data points are orange. So we can draw a particular line here to make them separate or just to divide them. So let me just draw that particular line. So this is a particular line which can be drawn between these particular data points. So this particular line is called hyperplane. So in this particular algorithm, we are just using a classification line here which is called hyperline. So it just divide the two particular data points here. So if you look this particular data point here, you can consider that this particular data point is x and this particular data point is y. So if the position of this particular data points changes, then the particular position of the hyperplane will also change, because then there any different kind of line will be formed. So I hope that you would have understood that what basically this particular hyperplane means and what is this particular algorithm which we are going to use in this particular project. So let's move forward. So here I have just opened my Jupyter notebook and we will make our particular model in this particular notebook. So I have just imported the dependencies which are needed for this particular model here. So I have just imported NumPy, Pandas, two libraries here, and from sklearn.model selection I have imported train test split function. So it will just split our dataset into two parts, and then from sklearn.preprocessing I have just imported standard scaler. So we will do some kind of data standardization with our dataset which is needed for this particular model here. So I will explain you later on what this particular standard scaler mean. So after that I have just imported SVM. So this is basically support vector machine algorithm which I already discussed in this particular video. So after that we have just imported accuracy score function. So we will just calculate the accuracy score of our particular model which we will create. So after just importing these dependencies, we will do data collection and analysis. So first of all, we have to load the CSV file of our particular dataset into a pandas data frame. So I have just created a new variable and I have just loaded this dataset into this particular variable, Parkinson data. So after that, I am just printing the first 5 rows of the data frame, Parkinson data dot head function. So head function will give me the first 5 rows of this particular dataset. So here you can see that this is a particular columns which are present in this particular data frame. So here you can see that another column is here, status column. So basically status column will give us whether the person is having this particular disease or whether the person is not having this particular disease. So I hope that you would have understood everything up till this point of time. So moving on. So now we are just printing the number of rows and columns which are actually present in this particular data frame. So total number of rows and columns are 195 and 24. So shape function will just give us the number of rows and columns. So it's very basic thing. So let's move forward. So now we are trying to get some more information regarding dataset here. So we are just using info function. So it will give us different kind of information which is present in this data frame. So here you can check what kind of information is present. So now we will check is there any kind of missing values or not. As we already seen in the dataset that there is no missing value. So we will check through the coding that whether any kind of missing value is present or not. So we are using Parkinson data. This is a particular variable which we have created, and dot is null dot sum. So this particular function will give total number of null values. So here you can see that there are no null values in this particular data set. So moving on. So now we will get some statistic measure of this particular data set. So describe function will give us the particular statistical measure for this particular data set here. So here you can see that count, standard deviation, minimum value, these kind of statistical measures are being given here. So you can just get an overview of it. So now we have just seen what are the statistical measures here. So now we will check the distribution of the target column. So basically the status column is our target column here, and we are just trying to see what is the distribution of this particular column here. So I'm just using value count function here. So here you can see that the status function is having a value 1 or 0 here. So the number of rows which are having 1 as a value are 147, and total number of values which are having 0 as the value are 48. So here you can see that how the value counts function work. So after that we are just grouping the data based on the target column. So I'm just using the group by function, and I'm just calculating the mean of all the values here, and we are just grouping this data based on the target column here. So here you can just see that after running this, you can see that all the values are just their value mean value is just calculated, and they are just grouped based on the status value here 0 and 1, and all the other columns are here. So I hope that you would have understood what I am trying to explain you. So let's move forward. So now we will do data pre-processing. So it's a very important stage here. So basically we are going to separate the status column and the rest of the data frame here. So it's very important to separate the status column here as it will be our target column. So I'm just making new variables here x and y, and I'm just dropping the two columns here. So I'm just dropping the name column and the status column. So let me just show you again. So here you can see that we are having the status column here, and we have the name column also. So this is the name column, and we don't need this particular column here. So we are just dropping it. So let's get back to the square one. So we have just dropped these two particular columns here, and the axis value is 1. So basically when you drop a particular column, then the axis is equal to 1. So if you just drop a particular row, then the axis value will be 0. So you should know what I am trying to explain here. So then once we have just dropped this particular columns, then I am just loading the status column into another variable here y. So status column will be our target column, so it's very important to load it into a new variable here. So after working this, we are just printing the x and y here. So here you can see that I have just printed the values of x and y. So you can easily see that the data is easily separated here. So once you have done the data pre-processing here, we will split the data frame into training and test data here. So I'm just creating new variables x train, x test, x train, y train and y test here. and the train test split function is being used. So I am just keeping the test size is equal to 0.2 and the random state is equal to 2. So test size is you have to take 0.2 because here you can see that the data set is not very big. So we have to keep the training data more and the testing data should be less. So that's why I am just using test size equal to 0.2. So once we have just run this particular code, then I'm just printing the x dot shape, x train dot shape, and x test dot shape. Here you can see that the total number of rows and columns are 195 and 22. And after splitting the data frame into training and test data, they are 156 and 39. So here you can see that our data frame has successfully splitted. So moving on. So now we are going to do data standardization. So basically you can do data standardization before the splitting of the training and test data. It's up to you when you want to do this particular data standardization. So let's get started. So here I am just creating a new variable scalar and I am just calling the function standard scalar. So after that I'm just using another function, fit function, and I'm just fitting the x train data here. After that I'm just transforming our particular data set x train and x test so that they are just converted into a particular range. So now let me just show you why we are transforming our data set here. So let me just show you the head function again. So yeah, here you can see that. So here you can see that these particular columns here having 3-digit numbers here, 116, 122, and if we just see another column here, they are having decimal values here. So you can see that there is a wide range of values here, and we cannot use these particular values directly. So we have to do some kind of standardization to just make these particular values into a particular range. So the complete data frame should be of a particular range only. It should not be a very wide kind of range. So I hope that you would have understood why we are just importing the standard scalar function here. So let's get back to the coding here. So here you can see that we have just transformed our data frame here, and we have just loaded that particular transformed variables again into the same variables here, xtrain and xtest. So after that we are just printing the xtrain again. So here you can see that now the values are in the particular range only, all the values here. So here you can see that easily. So after that we are just training our support vector machine model. So as we have already seen that we have just imported svm function. So we have just created a new variable model and we have just imported svm function here, and here is support vector classifier. So basically this is a classification model, so we are using support vector classifier model here. So there can be a support vector regressor model also. So but here the prediction is about whether the person is having this particular disease or not. So it's only having two kind of possibility here. So we have to just classify our answer. So that's why we are using support vector classifier function here. And after that we are just training our model here with the fit function. We are training a machine learning model on the train dataset here. So keep that in mind. Don't use the x test and y test data here. We are just training our machine learning model on the training data here. So once we have did it, we can evaluate our machine learning model here. So now we will evaluate our machine learning model and we will check the accuracy score of our machine learning model. So we are just calculating the accuracy score on data training data here. So we have just created a new variable xtrain prediction, and we will we use this predict function on the xtrain data here. And after that I have just created another variable here, train data accuracy, and I am just using accuracy function here, and we will just calculate the accuracy score on training data here. So we will just print our accuracy here, and you can see that the accuracy score on the training data is 0.8846. So it's a very good accuracy score. So once you have just calculated the accuracy score on the training data, we can also calculate the accuracy score on the test data. So we will just do the same coding which we have done for the training data here. So here you can see that there is not a very much a big difference here, and you can just see that the accuracy score on the test data is 0.8717. So you can see that there is not a very huge kind of gap between the accuracy score of test data and training data. So this shows that our machine learning model is very good. So whenever you make a particular model, keep that in mind that the accuracy score of training data and the test data should be in the same range, so that you can get a good kind of model. So otherwise there can be underfitting or overfitting. So keep that in mind. So that's it guys. That's all for this video. We have just created a new machine learning model. So thank you very much.